Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second Raw Talk. Today we have with us Ashdin Doctor, a habit coach, who's going to talk to us about sustainable habits for the new normal. Thank you, Ashton, for joining us today. We hope you enjoy this session brought to you by Raw Pressery. Towards the end of the session, we will be taking up live questions. Please leave them in the QA box. You may ask for any of the assistance in the chat box if required. Over to you, Ashton. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Wow, welcome to this talk. I'm super excited to be here. And isn't it amazing that we've all gotten so comfortable with Zoom? At least that's one good thing with this whole lockdown situation that is there. I'm on my farm and I have my phones that are being a 4G signal for me right now. It's a funny setup right here. Things that I never thought I would be doing. So welcome. Having said which, in case my connection dies, I will try my best to connect over one of the phones. So please bear with me for that. Before starting, I love an interactive session. So please use the chat box as much as you want. Just keep putting in, thoughts that you have. There's a Q&A box as well at the bottom that you can leave your questions in that so that I can have a structured way of approaching them. So without further ado, let's start. So normally when I start these talks, people start asking, what is this whole idea of habit coaching? And I know during this lockdown, you must have felt a difference in the way that your routines have changed, right? So how has this lockdown been for you guys? And and when people ask me this whole story of what is a habit coach, how does a habit coach work, I normally tell them about how I started. And 5 years ago, it was a very different story. I was extremely unhealthy. I was overweight, stressed. I remember once getting ready for a presentation and collapsing on the floor because my life was completely out of whack from what a healthy life should be. And at one point of time, I drew a line in the sand and I said, enough, no more. And that is the best place for most of us to start our change in life. Because what happens is that we start off all gung-ho and then somewhere along the line it fizzles off. But when you have this whole, rock bottom experience, you start making this change and it all starts from there. So I started making this change, and within a year and a half, focusing on my nutrition, focusing on my fitness, exercise, sleep, de-stressing, all these things, I had started making a change in my life. At which point of time, friends of mine started seeing that and coming to me and asking me, but how are you doing this? Give me some tips. What are the fast ways of losing 5 kilos? I have a wedding in 2 months. I want to lose 2 kilos, 10 kilos in that way. And I used to say, just chop off your hand, right? That's the fastest way. Or go to the moon and stay there. That's the fastest way to lose weight. Because none of these things that we do quickly actually make sense. Because we have to start thinking of ourselves in the long frame of mind, in the long-term frame of mind. So they would come and say, Ashtin, I don't have your motivation. I don't have your self-discipline. And this is what started playing in my mind, because I really wanted to share with everybody what are the things I had learned. And they kept telling me these two things, right? Tell me if you all feel the same way, right? Like, put your hands up, say yes, say something. That, do you feel that sometimes you just lack the self motivation, you lack the self discipline, which is why you don't start? And this is a problem in itself, because what happens is that when we don't start, there is no progress, there is no movement forward, there is nothing that we can do going ahead. So as a result, this motivation and self-discipline that society, books, our motivation gurus have taught us about is wrong, because it puts us in this negative frame of mind, saying in the past I've tried doing this, so it's never worked, so which is why I'm not doing this now either. And that's in my mind when this penny dropped, and I said, I don't think I'm particularly motivated, or I don't think I have self-discipline. So what was it that I did right? Right? If I could replicate that with people, that means there is something there that we could use. So what we started doing was, I realized that there's something so powerful here, which was that when I began my journey, I realized that I had started changing my habits, the things that I did every single day. So it wasn't about like, the amount of motivation and the grit and determination with which I started something or did something. It was the tiny, tiny things and the tiny, tiny habits that I started forming along the way. Now, how many times have we just relied on motivation, right? How many times have we just relied on, that grit and determination and have failed? Let me know, say yes, say something, so that I know that, this is a frustration that all of us have felt. And, when this whole process of motivation, determination fails us, we feel like losers. And this is where this whole spiral starts. I can't do anything. Yeah, look at that. Dipti is saying yes, Anupama is saying always. It is so funny that we keep relying on the things that makes us fail. Instead, we need to learn how to grow our habits. 100% true, exactly. Right? So this whole funda is, what do we do to grow, and how do we get that in place? Now, I know what you're saying is that, yeah, but I've lost my will, I've lost my this. Now, how do I start? How do I start? Especially with this whole lockdown phase, our lives have been done like a topsy-turvy spin. How do I start? Where do I start? And this is where this one word comes in. And I want all of you all to mug it up. If you have a book, write it down, okay? Intention. The word is intention. Anytime you want to start something, anytime you want to begin something, anytime you want to change in your life, it has to be with a particular intention. If your intention is not correct, if your intention is weak, there is no way that whatever change you're going to make is going to be fruitful. Now, what I mean by a weak intention, you know, um, a few years ago, running became a big thing, right? Everybody was becoming a runner. And like, I live at Carter Road and I would see people just running up and down, running up and down. So running became the thing. And everybody wanted to start running. And it was hilarious because I knew people who would say, I also want to start running. My friend started and, she started losing weight. People started running because their neighbors were running, not because they enjoyed it. And which is why very often it went on for a few weeks and then it failed. So their intention was wrong. Similarly, if your intention is, I want to lose weight because there's a wedding coming up, your intention is wrong. Imagine if you could learn about how to change your life so you never have to worry about weight again for the rest of it. Doesn't that sound like a powerful thing? Right? Instead of wondering about how can I make this quick change now, we start looking long term, saying that whatever changes I'm going to make from now onwards are going to be forever. And that is at least one big thing that I should take out, right? So definitely start off with that. Yes, please do the polls as well. So guys, we're going to be putting up polls, so please click on the polls. Let me know what you're thinking about them, so I also get a sense of where you all are on these things. Okay, so how has staying at home made you feel? I would love to know this. Click on the poll, click submit, so I get a sense of this as well. So when we start off with this, the way to get your intention in place is to ask yourself why 3 times. Okay, this is critical. Ask yourself why 3 times. So why do I want to lose weight? I want to lose weight because I want to start looking good. Okay, why do you want to start looking good? I want to start looking good because my friends keep making fun of me when I'm not looking good. All right, why do your friends keep making fun of you? And then you start getting deeper and deeper and deeper, till at one point of time you come up to the place where people are saying that, oh lovely, peaceful is the first answer. I love it. You guys are killing it. 24% said peaceful at home. Superb. 18% said anxious and lethargic. That's what we're going to do now. 18% said overwhelmed. Lovely. Happy 21%. You guys are killing it. I'm loving it. All right. Super. Very enthu group. So ask yourself why 3 times. And when you're going through this, you'll notice that the last why will always start coming down to something very, very innate in us, something that is very personal, something that touches us deeply. So for example, with one of my clients, it came down to the point saying that, I want to be fit, I want to lose weight because I want to play with my child. Every time I play with my child, I get tired and I feel that I'm not being a good parent. Now that is something very, very deep. And once you have an intention that is that deep and that strong, whatever change you're going to make is going to stick. And that is the beauty of this intention setting. I hope you're taking notes on this, because that intention setting is so critical out here, saying that what are the aspects of our life that we need to start changing. And very often people say, I don't know where to begin, right? We can take one quick poll here as well, which is that motivation poll. Or you can also go to my website, Awesome 180, where I have a habit quiz that you can take, and you can see which of your habits should you focus on first. That is something else that you can do as well, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is, once you do these three whys structure, and I hope you've written this down, then comes the part where you want to make a change. So say you want to make a change in your sleep routine, because you've realized that every time your sleep is proper, you are a better person to everybody else around you. See, isn't that a very powerful why? That's what I mean by powerful whys. So you're a better person to everyone. So now you want to start on your sleep routine. What do we typically do, right? We start making it hard to do. You know what, I'm going to wake up at 5 or 4 o'clock every morning, right? I'm going to now sleep at 8 o'clock. Have you tried on a diet routine and failed miserably? 84% said yes. Isn't that so true? Oh my god. Because we rely on motivation. You know, after this talk, I'm guaranteeing you, if you follow it, if you do this poll again, you're going to see a big difference in this number, because there's going to be a small mindset shift in what I'm saying right now. You know, so what's interesting is that when I sleep, I wake up. So like I was saying, people sleep for trying making their goals hard. Like I'll wake up at 4 o'clock every day. People say that I'll sleep at 9 o'clock. I will now never watch Netflix for the rest of this entire lockdown, and silly things like that. Now tell me, is any of this possible? Is any of this true? How long are you going to never watch Netflix? If you're somebody who wakes up at 9 o'clock, how long are you going to wake up at 4 o'clock for? It's impossible. You'll do it one day, you'll do it 2 days, and then poof, correct? It's gone. So what's happened is that we've instead thought about change with grit and determination instead of habits. So when you're making a habit, there are three important golden rules of habit change. All right. If you have a book, please write this down. And if it makes sense, say I or something like that. Okay. What are the three rules? One is make it small. Okay. Make it tiny to do. Like if you want to start an exercise routine, right, just do 20 squats. Correct. Make the number small. So even if you go to the washroom, you can do 20 squats. If you get up to after work, you can do 20 squats. Something simple. Make it small. If you want to improve your food habits, add one small salad to your meals. It's a tiny step that we're making, right? Make it small. Then the next one is make it easy to do. What does easy to do mean? Easy to do means you remove all the friction that is there. So how many of you have started to start a workout routine at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in your life? Now you'll realize that it's not the workout routine that's the problem. It's not the exercise. It's wearing your clothes, putting on your shoes. That is where the battle is won or lost, right? So your entire habit for exercise, for example, just starts by putting on your exercise clothes and putting on your exercise shoes. That's it. You don't need to actually do anything. Once you realize that, you want your exercise clothes, you want your exercise shoes, now you're just hanging around at home, might as well do something. You'll do a little bit of running on the spot. You might do a few jumping jacks. And that's the way in which that you should inculcate these changes. The final rule, right? We got make it small, make it easy. And the final rule, never miss 2 days in a row. Okay. I'm sure you must have all read about 21 days to change a habit and all of that. Take that and put it on the side. I have never seen 21 days work with a client, because honestly, life comes in the way. You start something and then suddenly you're invited for a wedding or for a party. And then the thing that you started, now you have to, oh no, I can't do it anymore. I wonder what food they will have. My diet's gone for a toss. Chalo, what is the point? I'll just stop. Hasn't that happened to you? Correct? Life comes in the way. Somebody will fall sick. You might fall sick. Life comes in the way. So this whole 21 days, doing it on a streak, never missing a day, doesn't work. But what works is never missing 2 days in a row. And what I mean by that is, if you start on Monday and you did on Tuesday, but Wednesday life came in the way, you couldn't do it. Thursday, under any circumstances, get it done. Right? So just do it on a Thursday. whatever happens, make sure even if you just do a small thing. So if you have a yoga practice, a yoga habit that you want to create, just roll out the yoga mat and sit on it. Even if you do that for 20 seconds, I will count that as your habit done for the day, because you have to start that small and never miss that momentum. All habit change is all about momentum. Correct? And as you can see, there's a poll saying which of these following is the toughest for you to change. I would love to actually see this, because we've got three here, but you can always ask questions on any of the others that are up there. So as you understood that habits are all about making things small, making things easy, and consistency, never missing 2 days in a row. But let me ask you, what have y'all been doing in this whole lockdown phase? Correct? I've been on Instagram, I've been everywhere, and everywhere we are talking about challenges. Correct? All right, so we've got 28% sleep, 33% exercise. All right, and then nutrition, productivity, and exercise almost the same. Productivity and stress almost the same. All right, perfect. Trying out new habits but not able to follow too. Dipti, excellent. Just stay tuned and we'll figure out why. Okay. So like I was saying, when we think about it, and actually, Dipti, this might be the answer for you. Very often we think of a challenge as a way to make a change and not a habit. So I've been seeing 21-day fat loss challenge. We've running our own 30-day no sugar challenge. We've seen all sorts of challenges on exercise challenge for 45 days, intermittent fasting challenges. Everything's a challenge, right? And what does a challenge mean? It means that it's going to end at some point of time. So what are you going to do after it ends? See, remember what I said in the beginning, everything has to be a lifestyle change. It has to be forever. So a challenge, if you cannot follow through for it forever, is not a lifestyle change. It is what it is. It's a challenge. Like I was saying, we started a 30-day no sugar challenge. And in the 30 days no sugar challenge, it is only for 30 days. Because I don't want you quitting sugar for the rest of your life. It's impossible, right? You will want that little bit. So don't think of it as quitting sugar for life, but think of it as quitting sugar for 30 days and maybe in the future doing it again. But eating healthy, eating the right kind of meals and exercise can always become a part of your lifestyle. And this change is so important. As soon as you realize that the difference between a challenge, which is where you require grit and determination, and habits where you require ease, patience, and consistency. So start thinking about all the habits that you tried creating. Dipti, think about this. Were they small? Were they easy? Were you able to be consistent in them? What happened? Correct? Think about it from this perspective and you'll start seeing your habits change and transform. Okay. So now when we're talking about lifestyle changes, let's think about some lifestyle changes that we can make from today. Okay. What are the kinds of things? Like nutrition was one of the things that people posted. And nutrition has been the funniest thing during this lockdown, right? As soon as the lockdown started, everyone was talking about what banana breads, what are they baking at home, cakes. The number of food pictures on Instagram suddenly shot up. It was quite funny. And like I said, we moved to our farm here just before the lockdown. So we've been here 5 months. And at that point of time, once we came in here, we thought party time, yo, this is what farm life is about. We're going to chill and we're going to eat. And my parents and I did exactly that. We ate a breakfast, then we ate a post breakfast, then we ate a lunch, then we ate an evening snack, then we ate a dinner, and then we ate munchies while watching TV at night. And very soon, all of us turned into little golgappas. Correct? Now, what happened was that our very nice eating habits that we created at home, now because this lockdown started, said that, who cares? And we went on eating junk. So what we did was we realized that this is a problem. And I'm sure you might have faced this as well at home, because everybody's at home, everybody will feel snacky, everybody will feel hungry, the kitchen will get raided. You might feel like, being a kitchen superstar and cooking up fancy things. But at some point of time, we have to realize that nutrition is about feeding the body. And nutrition is about making us healthy, energetic for the future. So I know it's boring, but it is what it is. You have to eat in order to create this entire structure and energy that we have. So we create the food that was there. Now, what we did at home here is something that I recommend everyone do at home as well, which is what we started skipping breakfast and doing intermittent fasting. Now, why? I am a big fan of intermittent fasting. I love fasting from its health benefits, its fat loss benefits, all of it combines together to form this beautiful mix because honestly, we are just over consuming. We're eating way too much. So what's happening is now we need to figure out how to structure our intermittent fasting time. And if you've never done intermittent fasting, I suggest you all start. And this is an easy habit to start because it starts off at 12 hours. Now, 12 hours is easy to do, right? If you ate your meal at 8 o'clock last night, the next day, first meal is at 8 o'clock. Now, if that sounds easy, then do 14 hours, which is if you ate last at 8 o'clock in the evening, you do 10 o'clock the next day morning. If that becomes easy, do 16 hours, add 2 more hours, add 2 more hours. What we started doing on the farm was with my parents and I, we did 18 hours. That means we would eat at around 7:38 and then our next meal would be at 1:32. So this is how we balanced it out. And because we were used to fasting, it wasn't a big jump for us. So intermittent fasting, you feel energetic. Yes, exactly. Right. I just finished a 100-hour fast. I don't know for you, all those who are on my Instagram, you all will know about this. But the rest, 100 hours of fasting got over yesterday. Actually, this morning. Fantastic. So fasting is beautiful. You don't have to do 100 hours. Remember, that will be a challenge. We are talking just 14, just 16. Okay. Yeah. Yes, 106, correct. So that is how our lives need to revolve. And this is how we start changing small. Notice I haven't even touched your food yet because that's what the next point is about. So habit one for nutrition, everyone, please start this and you'll see a big change. If you want, convince your family as well, but you all started for sure. Start fasting, 14 hours minimum, go up to 16 hours because 16 hours is where the magic happens, and 18 hours if you're feeling like King Kong. Okay. The next one is when you think about nutrition, we're all chronically protein deprived. Okay. All of us, whether we're non-vegetarians, vegetarians, it doesn't matter. We're all eating way little protein. So a simple habit is every time you think about your meal and what you're going to be eating, start by first thinking about where is my protein coming from. So you first focus on the protein. Then after you figure that out, so for vegetarians, it will be either your paneer, it will be your dals along with your rice. Remember, for proteins, you have to have dals plus rice, both combined together to form protein in your body. Just dal alone doesn't work. And then we start thinking about the rest of the plate. So you first think protein. The second thing you think about is what are the vegetables I'm going to be eating. Okay. This is very critical for both vegetarians and non-vegetarians. And potato is not a vegetable. Okay. Potato is starch. It comes from the ground. So potato is not a vegetable. So anything green, anything that grows on a tree, plant, like, a vegetable, right? So get that in place. Bindi, yummy things, palak, all of that. Focus on the vegetables. The thing that you think about last, right? The thing that is that like the smallest that is supposed to be on your plate are your starchy carbohydrates, which are your rice, wheat, avoid wheat if possible, but all your millets like jawar, bajra, ragi, all those things, correct? That make it as small as possible, and you will see a dramatic change in your life. Now start looking at your place like this. Up here, you have your protein, then you have your vegetables, a nice large chunk of it, and then you have your starchy carbohydrates at the bottom. And this gives you a perfect meal. So start thinking about this, and it's a super simple habit to do. Being vegetarian, is it necessary to take B12 supplement? It depends. You have to ask your doctor if you're deficient in it or not. Why have rice and dal? Is only dal sprouts not enough? No, unfortunately, we have amino acids that form chains to become muscle or protein. Now, dals only have about 75% of the amino acids needed to create that muscle protein. The remaining proteins are in rice. Isn't it fascinating how traditionally these two have always been combined together? Correct? Rice, grains, any of those starches is where the remaining proteins are, which is why you have to have your dals along with your rice to get that complete protein. Isn't it fascinating? Then we can eat khichdi, right? Perfect. Eat khichdi. You know what I do? I do khichdi and put a ton of vegetables inside. Makes it really nice. And ghee. Don't forget the ghee on the khichdi. You have to make it tasty and correct. So this is the way that you start thinking about your food. Notice what happens when you start doing intermittent fasting. There are no morning snacks and there are no late night snacks. Now ask yourselves, how many times are you all sitting in front of the TV, Netflix, and doing this? Correct? This is the only exercise most people get, like a bicep curl, taking snacks and putting in their mouth. Correct? So we don't need that, right? So when you start your intermittent fasting, you're going to go through this beautiful process of eating your meals, maybe have an evening snack, but that's it. And then after you finish your dinner, peaceful, nothing after that. That's one. And the second, just look at your plate. Start by focusing on your protein, then focus on your veggies, and finally focus on the starch. And you are set. Okay, remember I told you it's so simple, and that's how we're going to approach our life. Tiny habits that we can continue forever. And these things that we can do forever, isn't it so simple? Yes. I'm giving you a hint. Yes. Okay. All right. Do we need to avoid wheat in the meal? This is completely debatable, and that's a long rabbit hole that we can go down. I'll answer that later. All right. The next one that people get really affected by in this lockdown, sleep, right? How many sleeps have been affected? Like, I used to sleep so well. Now I can't sleep. I don't know what has happened to me. I wake up at 9 o'clock because there's nothing to do. I'm hearing this every single day. So let's focus on sleep. Why is sleep important? In fact, I think a while ago, I'd done a video. I remember lots of people talking about weight loss. I'd done a video saying the easiest way to a weight loss, or I've done a podcast, I don't remember. Easiest way to a weight loss is to sleep, correct? The amount of fat that we can burn through our sleep and getting proper sleep is insane because it just regularizes our entire system. So screen time has gone up. Ooh, perfect. Let's discuss that as well. Okay. So sleep regularizes our entire system. Men, if you're not getting your sleep, your testosterone is dropping dramatically. Okay, just a couple of hours of lack of sleep and many percentage drops in testosterone. So you start seeing that sleep is very, very important. And it's not about I got my 8 hours of sleep, yeah, because I slept at 2 o'clock and woke up at 10 o'clock. No, that's not correct. Because what we need is we need that early sleep, the sleep that starts around 10 o'clock onwards. Okay, and what happens when we sleep late, wake up late, is we've lost the morning. And the morning is where you can make or break your day, because the morning is where you have your free time, you're the most energetic, and you start off without lethargy. Many times people who start off their day late start it off with lethargy, and that is a big, big issue. So start thinking about it this way. How can I make my sleep earlier? And then how can I increase my quality of sleep? So I have two interesting, very easy habits to do. One may not be that easy, but we'll see. All right. Actually, it's better than the other option. So the first one is all sleep starts by setting a sleep alarm. Now, this is not an alarm to wake up. This is an alarm to go to bed. So this is an alarm that will ring at night. Okay. And it's hilarious. So my entire family and I have a sleep alarm set up. I'm talking about last year. We had guests over who just refused to leave the house, and we had a late dinner. And it was hilarious because all our sleep alarms started firing off one after the other. Mine went off at 10, mom's went off at 10:30, dad's went off a little later. And it was so funny. But that is how, you start getting into this habit of sleeping on time. What happens when you start sleeping on time is that you start getting all the sleep cycles. You see, melatonin is a sleep hormone and it's released in our body. And what happens is that it triggers what are called 90-minute sleep cycles. And this is how our sleep functions. So the earlier we sleep, the better we get into it. And once you set a sleep routine, what happens is it starts off with your alarm. Say you set your alarm say you want to sleep at 11 o'clock in the night, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, 11 is perfectly fine. Set your alarm for 10:30. Once the alarm goes off, you put off the alarm, you put off your phone. Say bye to everybody, put off your phone. Then you change into your pajamas, you dim the lights in your house, and you just sit around. The idea is to sleep well, you have to bore yourself to sleep. You cannot watch Netflix and excite yourself to sleep. And that's a big mistake. Think about children. How do we put children to bed? We bore them to sleep. La, 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 la. Right? Same thing that we have to do for ourselves. We're big babies, yeah. We're big babies after all. So think about it that way. Reading a book perfectly fine as long as it's not on a Kindle. Kindle is against screen time, right? And screen time's gone up to 100%, remember? So reading a book is perfectly fine, but dim the lights as much as possible. Okay. The next thing, I'm going to give you a beautiful tip. This is what I do when I get into watching Netflix and I'm watching like a fantastic show that I just can't keep skipping. What I do is I never wait till the entire episode is over to stop, because most episodes end with a cliffhanger. And now you're like, oh shit, what happened? I think I need to see the next one. I think I need to see the next one. I think I need to see the next one. And you decided you'll be sleeping at 10 o'clock. Next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. and you finally finished watching the entire show. So it's a beautiful tip. Just never finish watching all the way. Keep an eye on the timer. And when you see a lull in the show, pause, bus, close laptop, and you're done. And this is one way of getting out of it. Trust me, guys, it is so hard getting over these Netflix binges. This is one way that I've seen work with many of my clients, works with me for sure. Okay, so it's a beautiful tip. Try it out. Let me know how you think, how you feel. Okay, so sleep, very, very important. Two easy things. This you can do. I think all of us who are not on our phones watching this, if you're watching this on a computer or on a tablet, take out your phones and set a sleep alarm for yourself right now, today. Okay, and figure out how you're going to implement this, where you're going to put your phone, how you're going to change into your clothes, at what time, what you're going to tell your family, and that way. Finally, the last thing most people found hard to implement during this lockdown is exercise. Okay, so how many of us are working here? Can we put up the productivity poll? I'm curious to see this. Okay, so how many of you all are working efficiently from home? And the key word is efficiently, okay? And we put an option there saying trying to. Go for it. I'm not trying to cue you all into anything. But you know, what happens is that we started getting very, very sedentary in the way that we live because we just don't walk enough. Our homes are small. We can't go out. At least in office, we used to walk from the parking lot or from the bus stop to the office. At least in the office, we used to walk up and down to the toilet to meet our fellow colleagues, etc. None of that is happening now. So our entire sedentary lifestyle has taken over. And as a result, what has happened is that we're just not moving enough. 41% saying trying to, and 33 saying yes, 26% saying no, love it. Okay, trying to. So what I'm trying to say is, we'll talk about one habit for productivity later on. So the way to think about this is start thinking about 3 workstations. Okay, what I want you to do is in your house, I want you to have 3 places where you can work from. What I mean by this is one sitting in a chair, like how I am right now, one at a standing position, and one on the ground. Now, why these 3? Because what happens is that if you're sitting in a chair throughout, we're putting a lot of pressure on our spine and we're shortening our muscles here in the front of our thighs and at the back of our knee. And you'll notice that this is the place where we typically get strained. So I'm sure you must have heard of all these things saying, uh, sitting is the new smoking and all of that. This is exactly why. So let's understand 3 workstations is a beautiful tip. One standing, one sitting, one on the floor, and you'll start seeing movement in your body like you haven't before. Try this out. The second tip is start a Tabata routine. A Tabata routine is super easy. It's a 4-minute exercise routine. 20 seconds of exercise, 10-second break. 20 seconds exercise, 10-second break. 20-second exercise, 10-second break. Do it 8 times and you're done. You don't need to do any more. Now, if for all of you all who are saying that I don't have time to exercise, guys, you all have 4 minutes, no? 4 minutes you all can take out. If not, there's a other bigger issue at hand that we need to worry about. So 4 minutes of exercise is all you need. You don't need to do 20 minutes of cardio. After that, this is enough. I have in the handout, I have linked a video to my Tabata exercise routine as well. Check it out, follow along, enjoy, and do it every day and see how you feel. Okay, so Tabata is a beautiful thing to exercise with. Like I said, make it small, make it easier to do. Similar to the Pomodoro technique, yeah, but the whole Tabata routine started actually in a laboratory. So it is completely scientific. It's quite nice, very interesting. And the last one is micro workouts. What are micro workouts? Throughout your day, 6 times, 5 times, 4 times, I want you to do small mini workouts. Okay, do 20 squats after a couple of hours. Put your hands on the wall, do a few push-ups. If you can do push-ups from the wall, do push-ups from the wall. If you have a bar, hang from the bar. Do something exercise-wise. Just do a few jumping jacks. Do some high knees. Basically, what I'm saying is that these micro workouts add movement to your life. Do it for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, it doesn't matter. But what happens is that over a period of time, it increases the volume. Because now imagine if you did a 4 minute, just a small micro workout, not a Tabata workout, 5 times a day, you've done 20 minutes of exercise just like that. And that's the beauty of these micro workouts. So every time your Zoom call finishes, imagine after this Zoom call, get up, just do a few jumping jacks, a few high knees, and you're set. Okay. So exercise is a beautiful way of getting yourself ready. So to quickly cover all that we've done, and then we're going to go to the questions. Been doing micro workouts every 30 minutes of work. Good job. Just did a set of deadlifts. Deadlifts are not micro workouts, Arjun. Okay. So to recap, don't think about life as something hard. Lifestyle change should not be hard. Challenges should be hard, like the no sugar challenge that I was talking about. The no sugar challenge is hard to do, right? So do it along in a structured manner. Do that. Habits should be easy to do, like all these things that I just discussed. Intermittent fasting, easy to do. Looking at your plate, making sure you're eating more protein, easy to do. The handout is going to be coming after this session. So in the handout, we've covered most of these points, and I've shared a few links that could help you all with habits. There's a habit tracker, etc. It'll come in your email. There's a discount code also for the no sugar challenges starting 1st September. So come join. I'll be on the support group as well with you all. And so the handout, please do look at it. Okay, lovely. So let's look at some of the questions that have come in. There's one that caught my eye that I'm quite excited to talk about. If I live in a joint family, how do I get my family to respect my working space or time from home? Now, this was a big issue when we started the no sugar, the quarantine, because now everybody was in your face, right? So we started with so we started with um, almost behaving like you're about to go to office. So the way to do this is to create a dedicated space that is your me space. Imagine it's like your little office space. You create one small table, you create a little place, you put a mug, you put your pens inside, and you put your little book that you can start writing in. And you tell everybody that when I'm at this place, do not disturb me. And I always tell people that when you're doing this, go around the house, meet everybody, say, guys, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go work now. Please don't disturb me. If you have a little child, kiss him bye-bye, like almost like you would going to the office. Say bye-bye to him. Okay, daddy's going to work, mommy's going to work. And then go sit on that particular spot and then focus. So the idea with this is all about communication, correct? We have to create that communication. We got a question on how to cope with anxiety. Lovely, right? Um, Anxiety is something that is a physical manifestation of a mental state, correct? So there is a, like when you feel anxious, how do you feel anxious? Do you get sweaty palms? Do you feel your heartbeat going almost about to pop out of your chest? Do you feel your stomach start rolling? Correct? Like before I was doing this, I was nervous. My stomach was doing a little good. Correct? How does anxiety come up in your life? What's interesting is that for anxiety, you have to start breaking it down and understanding that we first have to solve our physiological reactions. Now, we can't control our digestion. We can't control our heart beating. We can't slow it down. Correct? What is the only thing that we can control? The only thing we can control is our breathing. So we practice breathing. And for anxiety, the best breathing technique that is there is something called the box breath. It's very simple. It is 4 seconds of an inhale, 4 seconds of a hold, 4 seconds of an exhale, 4 seconds of a hold. And you just keep doing this over and over and over and over again till you start seeing yourself calm down. This is in fact the breathing technique that they teach to the elite SEALs, the Navy armed forces in America, to calm down in the middle of a gunfight. So it's quite crazy. It's very, very powerful. And I've used it many times when I've got a shocker. and I can't share that story here, but it's a shocker. And I had to use this to calm myself down for that. How about having chamomile and spearmint fennel tea before bed? Beautiful idea. Chamomile tea for sure. You can do tulsi tea as well. Spearmint might make you hungry. Um, in the world of so many do's and don'ts, which habits do I prioritize? If I sleep for 3 hours a day and I eat junk food and I barely walk 500 steps, how do I focus on improving my habits? The question basically means, where do I start? Right? There is so much that is in my life that is gone out the window. Where do I start? It all begins with what you feel is the lowest hanging fruit. Out of all this junk food, no sleep, no exercise, which do you feel is the easiest that you can first tackle? And that's where it starts. Remember, it is not about changing everything together. It is about changing one thing at a time. So start focusing on only one and then gain momentum. You will feel more excited and you will take it further and further and further. And that's a beautiful way of progressing through this journey. Hi, I wanted to ask you that kind of disease, like can disease like old be cured? OCD. Okay, OCD. It's not, well, you might have to see a psychiatrist for it. OCD is very interesting actually. OCD is a fear of, if you don't do this, somebody you love or you is going to die. And it's linked very closely to that. So it's all about breaking down your belief system. So many a times, therapy is a fantastic way of dealing with OCD. Going to a psychologist or psychiatrist is another way of dealing with it. I'm very, very well aware of OCD. A family member of mine has it. It's not something like we see in Friends where Monica has OCD. No, no, no. OCD is a serious condition and should be treated seriously. It's not about habits. So this is a different kind of a discussion for that. Is it true that an afternoon nap is bad for sleep? No, but for an hour, yes. So afternoon naps are very, very nice, because what happens is that there are lots of signs related to anti-aging and longevity that come from our afternoon naps. So, but how to have an afternoon nap? Never go for 1 hour. Remember I was talking about that 90-minute sleep cycle that melatonin does? Now, what happens is that if you sleep for 1 hour, you're in the middle of your deep sleep when you wake up. So you will always wake up groggy. You'll be like, oh my God, where am I? Who am I? What happened? How long have I been out? Correct? Instead, sleep for 20 to 25 minutes. Set an alarm. Most phones now, you can download an app that is called a power nap app that will set a 25-minute alarm for you. In fact, before this webinar, I did my power nap, which is why I'm so fresh. Okay, so power naps are fantastic, but don't make it an afternoon 1 hour nap. All right, how to enjoy things that are good for me like exercise? Beautiful answer. Anonymous attendee has asked this. Okay, so what is the difference between a good habit and a bad habit? Let's deal with that. So a bad habit is where you feel really good right now, but you feel really bad in the future. So for example, if you have 15 tequila shots, you're going to feel really good right now, but tomorrow morning you're going to feel really bad, right? So that's a very simplistic way of looking at a bad habit. You're going to feel really good now, really bad later. What's the definition of a good habit? It's all about delayed gratification. Most good habits make you feel horrible right now and good in the future. So exercise is one of those things, because exercise doesn't make you feel good. I don't enjoy exercise, guys. Like, just because like I have triceps doesn't mean that I enjoy the exercise. I know it's good for me, so I made it a habit and I do it. Okay, but it's not something that I would on a whim say, "Chalo guys, let's exercise." So that is important for us to understand. A habit is not something that you will enjoy, but it becomes who you are and a part of you. And that is a big takeaway from this talk. Any ideas or tips on how to avoid the urge of late night binging while taking up intermittent fasting? Yes, do not have snacks lying around. Very, very important tip. Okay, tell you my own thing. So my house help decided to put a box of almonds and figs and things like that and walnuts in my room. Now, I granted they are all healthy snacks, but I was intermittent fasting and I was watching a show, and it was I think about 9:30. I started my fast at 7 o'clock. I saw the dabba, I reached for it and I started eating. And then I realized that I started eating. If we see snacks, our first thing is to put it in our mouth and then think that, what are we doing? So don't have snacks lying around. Don't have it near your bed. Don't have it near the place where you watch TV. Hide them in the kitchen. And once they're in the kitchen, make it difficult to reach so that you don't go for them all the time. That's a very, very simple thing to do that you can do it. How to remain fit in these difficult times? Krish, excellent question. Do the Tabata workout. At least start with that. Do the micro workouts. You'll see a beautiful change. How do you keep up with the fitness routine, motivate each day to follow through with it? Exactly what I just said. How do you stay positive and full of gratitude during this time? Oh, I love this question. Anonymous attendee. Okay. I wish y'all had put your names. I would have loved to know who y'all are. How do you stay positive and full of gratitude at this time? There's a beautiful practice called the gratitude practice, where every morning what I do, and I tell all my clients that this is a non-negotiable, okay? Every single, if you'll become a client of mine, the first thing that we're going to talk about is setting up a gratitude practice for you. You wake up in the morning, you sit down in one place, and you write 3 things that you are grateful for. Okay, I am grateful for, full sentence, no shortcuts, no ditto lines, marks, nothing. Full sentence. I am grateful for. And what we do is, in that process, we write down a person that you can be grateful for, an event, like I met Shah Rukh Khan, I'm so grateful that I met Shah Rukh Khan, right? An event, or it can be a thing. I'm so grateful for my car, it takes me everywhere, it's never broken down, whatever. So write these 3 things down, and you will suddenly realize that your life is actually filled with enough things to be grateful for. The kicker here is never is for the first 1 month, you cannot repeat a single thing that you're grateful for. So 30 days in a month, you will end up in 90 things to be grateful for. Isn't that fantastic? 90 things to be grateful for. Okay, so gratitude exercise like this is a beautiful way of starting. There is also something called a gratitude jar that I just posted about yesterday on my Instagram. Please go check that out. What is the ideal time to work out in the day, and what is the ideal duration of a daily workout? Anything between 20 to 40 minutes is a good duration. You don't need to do an hour, hour and a half. I like the morning time in a fasted state. Okay, so that is good. So that is the best time according to me. If you want to push a hard workout, do it in the evening around 5, 6 o'clock. Anonymous attendee, public speaking tips. All right, this is a really nice one. Practice, practice, practice. Every single opportunity you get to practice public speaking, just sign up for it, right? If your friend's getting married and they need somebody to announce the dinner, just go take the mic and say, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Okay, so take every opportunity to do that. Step out of your comfort zone. That's the most important. Any nutritious drink to lose belly fat? Tough one. The closest I can think of is probably an apple cider hot water in the morning. That'll regulate your blood sugar, so hence it helps with that. You can make a nice kara with the ginger as well, so that will help again. So ginger plus the apple cider vinegar, mix it all together. Yummy. That's what we have here as well. How to be more organized? Superb. This will be our second last question. We'll take one more question and then we'll end. How to be more organized? Okay. The night before you go to sleep, I want you to sit down and write down what you're going to do the next day, okay, in detail, right? So what's happened during this lockdown is our sense of routine has gone out of the window. Important things we're not taking care of at all. We're not even focusing on them because somebody comes up to us running saying, I need this, I need this, I need this, and then we have to go and help them out, right? You sit down to work on something, mummy, 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 or where is this, where is that? So what we have to do is we have to structure our day. So there is family time, there is work time, and this is actually how I tell people to structure their day. Family time, work time, chores, me time, which is your exercise, gratitude, meditation, and downtime, which is your resting, relaxing. If you plan according to this, you are set. Be organized like this. All right, fantastic. Let's take one last question. Okay, lovely. This is a nice one. Pooja Sharma asks, what would you suggest to be consistent in developing a habit? How to get the required motivation? Okay. This is a lovely question related to habits, which I thought would be a nice last one. Habits, remember, make it small, make it easy, never miss 2 days in a row. Take a printout of the tracker that's coming with in that handout. put it up on a board in front of you. Put in what habits you're going to be doing. Remember, don't do anything more than 3 habits at a time. That's setting yourself up for failure, right? So just 3 habits at a time. And then what you do is you start tick marking on that. So every morning you wake up and you look saying, did I miss it yesterday? No, let's keep it on, tick mark. Did I miss it? Then you suddenly notice, oh shit, I didn't do it yesterday. Oh no, that means what? You have to do it today. Make sure you do it today. Okay, so never miss those 2 days in a row. Use a tracker. At the end of September, we are actually launching a habit tracking app, which is a fantastic platform. So, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you all will know when it comes out. If you all don't follow me on Instagram, come follow me on Instagram. Okay, so that you all will know when these things come out. And you can use that as your next tool for this. Okay, how are we doing on time? Wow, how fast time has flown. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this workshop. I absolutely loved it. I hope you'll have taken copious notes. I've answered as many questions as I could. If there are any further questions, please don't hesitate to DM me on Instagram or just reach out, visit my website. You can send me a mail, because I really want you to get the maximum out of this. Somebody asked, when is your next session? I don't know. Tell the raw team, right? Say, I want Ashdin again, and I will be there for sure. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Raw team, over to you. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Ashton, for being with us today and teaching us interesting ways on how to inculcate sustainable habits.